Hello, everybody, and welcome to Area X. My name is Thomas Zorber. I'm the head of VM People. We're an agency that is specialized in new digital forms of storytelling, and we are based in Berlin. Last month in July, the X Nights, our monthly event series, took a short summer break. I hope you're as far as we are concerned, we're all well rested, our skin is tanned, and we weigh, unfortunately, a few kilos more. So I guess it's good to get back to business. And with that, jump in directly in the subject of today's talk, business networking. Question is, how does professional networking actually work? Let me tell you a story. Some time ago, I was at some rooftop party. It was a nice evening. The weather was fine. Music was pretty good. I was enjoying myself. And actually, I was very impressed by the DJ. So right after her set, I approached her and started a conversation. Turned out that her name was Natasha. She was based in Oakland, California. We exchanged contact details and said we stay in touch. A couple of months later, I was organizing a conference, the IMMERSIVE X, and I was desperately seeking for some additional staff members to support my team, an event manager, and also a DJ for the after show. In this situation, I remembered the DJ I met a few months earlier. I contacted her, and to our meeting, she brought a guy from England who she recommended for the event management part. The conversation with him went well. The way he spoke, I immediately had the impression that this guy had something up his sleeve. On top of that, he also seemed very likable. So I made a deal with that guy. His name, by the way, was Liam. So what's the story here, you might think? I just told you didn't happen in real life. It all happened in virtual reality. Right here in Allspace, to be precise. The rooftop party, meetings, all that happened here in VR. The process of getting to know each other, all the conversations, the negotiations, and in the end, the decision to do business with each other, that all took place in a virtual environment. And believe it or not, to this day, I never even met Liam in person. Nevertheless, the hero of my little story is here tonight. He will be handling the stage. Hi, Liam. Please come up.
Hey,
How are you
hey
doing?
everyone. Great, thanks
Did
for
you
the
go on
intro,
holiday?
Thomas.
Did you go on a holiday too?
I did not. That's why I'm not tanned, and I can see you are tanned, which is interesting.
I'm sorry for that.
That's all right. Thanks
Thanks for
for
being
the
here
intro as
tonight.
well. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for making that deal with me. Um,
Sure.
this has been a great deal for me as well, and as I said, very much looking forward to the future of working with you in here.
So how about tonight? Do you have everything under control so far?
Yeah, everything's under control. Just as long as Roberto behaves himself on stage, doesn't run around too much out of the host zone, which I think he will.
Okay, maybe
Everyone's
this is the
behaving
right,
himself.
yes, maybe the right time to address our house rules. And you can all contribute to help Liam have a relaxed evening by following these rules, which I'd like to introduce to you to ensure the best possible sound quality. We'll mute you for the duration of the talk. We are sorry for that. If you want to give a spontaneous feedback, please make heavy use of the emojis. And if you have any questions or comments, please be patient and spare them until the end of the talk. There will be a Q&A session right afterwards. And now for the epilogue of my story about business networking in VR. When I asked him, he could about how we could invite to our X talk, he said, "I know a great speaker. He is a real rock star." That's what he said. And here he is. Our speaker tonight
words.
believes that connecting people from all around the world through virtual reality can bring business networking to a whole new level. He's based in Staten Island, New York City, and his business is called CONINVR. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Roberto DaCosta.
Hello, guys. Hey, guys. Thank you for that intro.
Stage is
my name
yours.
is Roberto DaCosta. Appreciate that. Yes, please feel free to emote as much as you want. And that is my face and my face as well. So anyways, I'll start off with the title of today's talk. Today we're talking about why networking is important and how it can be a better tool for your business, for you to grow and to create your community or grow your community. And then we'll touch on why VR networking, it will be the future for tomorrow's business networking. So I'll start off with a quick story on how I found networking and ultimately success. I was 24 years old. I was just told to take my things home from my desk and not come back. I was effectively let go. And out the door I went to the road of self-employment. I won't bore you with the intimate details of how all this came to be, but I think it's important to talk about the struggles that came in after, as it may be the same struggles for you and many small and mid-sized businesses around the world. Going from steady income as a senior web developer to running my own little web design business in an attic apartment that I rented. That was fun, but it was a hurdle. Just making ends meet and a slow progress over the next few years left me wondering how much longer till I felt good and accomplished, and most importantly, safe. After growing my clientele to comfortable size, I still only had made a small dent in the mission of success. I was, of course, like many of you, working on all aspects of my business alone. Marketing, designing, developing, client satisfaction, and relations. All this plus more, without any in-depth knowledge on how to run a successful business. Fast forward 4 years, and a few ups and downs later, I'm in my later 20s when I discover what true business networking is. This wasn't my first time around networking, but it was different. I was used to referral networking like Latip and BNI. I'm not sure if any of you have been part of any of these groups. If you have, throw an emoji up. If you haven't, I wouldn't say bother. But this that I joined, they were everything but that. These people just wanted to help me grow my business for the sake of helping personal networks, who would then point me to other people who later became my mentors, my business partners, my clients, and best yet, true friends. The more time I invested in networking, the more possibilities and opportunities I saw. Networking for me was flipped on its head, and I never wanted to go back to that old way of life once I knew what true business community felt like. And I'll be honest, if you had told me before all this that all I needed to do to grow my business was to simply join a networking group, I wouldn't have believed you. But it's all true. Business networking has propelled me to new grounds and mountaintops I never would have otherwise known existed, quite literally. I had a new outlook on what it means to be in business. The best part is that I didn't have to do it alone anymore. I needed this more than anything else, even money. This is why this is important and why you should care deeply about your business networks. I want you to win more and succeed like I did. I want more freedom and more fun in life and in business. This is what success is for me. Now I'll talk about what makes better networking and how that creates more business. You win by helping others win. So you have an idea why I'm here and what my mission turned into over time. I now know the reasons why networking is so beneficial, and I'm here to tell you why you too should make it a part of your story and how to do it correctly so you don't fall into the same pit hole of slow, stagnating growth or referral networking programs that charge you a boatload annually, then again per meeting that only works short term. I'll show you the ease of networking and how you can do it for free to start growing your business in a healthy way. We'll start off with a warning. What networking is not. Before you just run off and join a networking group, you should be warned about what networking is not. Firstly, it is not a competition. It's also not a place to come and fish for clients. A place to come and pitch and pitch and pitch again. Just like your hometown or any large successful organization, like VM people, good networking groups are a community. They are people just like you. They have emotional needs, desires, interests, and each person communicates differently. We are not just walking, talking wallets that you can come and sell your products or services to. We can smell you from a mile away when all you do is come into a room asking for sales and looking for clients. Don't do that. You will find more clients and connections to clients when you stop being selfish. I want to quote someone. Are you guys familiar with James Holliday from Ready Player One? James Holliday is the creator of the Oasis, the film's metaverse, if you will. He said, "I no longer cared that we were supposed to be rivals." And that's the basic principle of networking. You help your network first. And authentic is a word tossed around a lot. It almost loses its meaning. But that is exactly what networking should be. Real people working and building up with other real people. Community is built with people helping others learn, grow, and connect more. In the community, you will find mothers, brothers, sisters, fathers, and grandparents, each in a different part of life and with different experiences, needs, and connections. Asking how you might be able to help your network in your own way is what makes you stand out. Start to see how you can help people first, and the law of reciprocity will do the rest. I'll pose a hypothetical. Your best friend and a stranger set up lemonade stands. Who would you buy lemonade from? So become a friend in your network. It's simple as that. Superstar connectors. Become one. That's lesson number 3. That's how you break through. And that's how networking can make you a success story. Start with getting to know each other deeper. When you become more than a familiar face with your networks, you start to find out more about each other's deeper needs. And that goes past selling a product or getting a new client. Start becoming a super connector and help your network community by connecting other people to those people in your network. Connect the people who you think be a good match. They may be a good match based on a business interest or location, or even simple stuff like sports and hobbies. It doesn't matter if they ever use each other's services. You might connect deeply and be forever thankful you connected them. I have many examples of those. Those are some of the fundamental laws of the land when it comes to networking. And now getting started. Finding networking groups is a piece of cake. Just Google your local network groups for in-person events, or better yet, search LinkedIn and find the ones not listed locally. Join. These are gems, and I'll get into VR networking next. But to start, you should find 2 networking groups to join weekly. That's my recommended dose, and that's what I do. Often, though, I will also reach out and find a new group to join if I have the time that week. Once you are in the group, start connecting. Find people and see what interests them. Find their story and ask to connect on a personal one-to-one call. These calls are where your relationships really grow. Keep doing this and start growing your own personal network and watch the magic happen. Most importantly, keeping a record. There's no way for you to keep all these great new connections fresh on your mind for long. As you continue to grow your super connector skills and list of new friends, you will need to start a database of people. To make things easy, all you need is some basic information. And by the time you get to your first one-on-one conversation, you'll already have collected most of this info. Your database can be designed however works for you. There are many different templates you can find online for free. To keep it short, the major data points you need are your networkers' names, email, phone number, website, type of business, and maybe some of their personal interest. Keep this as simple or as complex as you want. The point is to have something so you can simply scroll through and find connections to help your networks connect more. It takes less than 1 minute to find 2 people in your database that might really benefit from knowing each other. Remember, help and connect. That's it. Simple and brilliant. If you do this, the real magic will start happening. The more connections you foster, the more connected you will be. Trust the system, plant the seeds, and watch your company grow. You will thank me later. And this gets on to what CONINVR's mission is and how VR networking will help. Now that you know what networking is all about and how you can start using it as a tool for business, we can start talking about VR and how it will change the way we network. We just heard an example about how being in VR has connected Tom down with Liam and now a DJ. Is it the same DJ that we're having today, or yes?
It is.
Awesome. Just by getting to know somebody deeper, because they heard them play, because Tom heard the DJ play. Now Tom is connected with the DJ, and Liam, who's a great friend of mine, by the way. That's as simple as networking goes in VR, just getting to know people. To talk about that, first we need to address how networking won't change. All the things we spoke about here are the things that won't change. Helping your community connect with others, developing strong bonds and trust. All that helps your business and the business of others flourish and grow. The powerful difference that changes the game is social VR platforms, just like AltspaceVR, and others like it, and others that will come out like it. In VR, business owners can connect in a fun, interactive way that Zoom or real-world meetings just cannot replicate. You can find people who love the same things by attending topical events, bounce from world to world, and enjoy live entertainment. The best of all, form business connections with people from around the globe who you would have never before had the opportunity to meet. This plays into our mission, so we want to take it a step further. Our hope is that CONINVR will be the hub of future VR networking events. Our plan is to help business owners like you thrive IRL, in real life, by utilizing the social tools VR will bring. Our strategy is simple. We want to raise the largest business networking community and educate them on networking, business, and work-life balance. We want to use VR to make business connections global in a way never done before. Our plan is to put business growth and success into hyperdrive. Current statistics show 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. We know that 95% failure rate is absurd. Would you take that bet on your life? I don't think so. We want to bring that rate down 25% to a healthy 70%. You might ask us how we plan to do that. So to fix that, we will be bringing some of the top coaches in business, health and wellness, life balance, and professional relationships from around the world into VR to help you and your business grow. The powerful network of business coaches and the business owners, that'll give you more opportunities to succeed and do right by yourself, your families, and more importantly, your community. There's that word again, community. That's why networking is so important. So take the next step. Learn from top business leaders around the world. Come join our networks. All of this is happening at our VR networking events. We will get you connected. That's the meaning, motto, and lifeblood of CONINVR. Better business connections in VR. And I'll quote James Holiday once more. Oasis was never supposed to be a one-player game. And your business shouldn't be either. Thank you very much. I guess we could start the Q&A.
Yeah, great talk, great talk. I was going to say, me and you're a perfect example of everything you're saying. The amount of connections that I've got through your networking events, just on the first time of turning up. You know, I need a CTO, and I turn up to your event, and someone's like, "Hi, I'm a CTO." About 3 times to your events.
Yeah, I mean, imagine going to an event today is not what we're envisioning. Of course, the 5-year plan is to show up to a networking event, and you have the possibility of meeting one of 10,000 people on a Monday night or a Tuesday night or any night of the week. And any one of those people could be your next business partner or your next client. Yeah. And that's possible.
Yeah, powerful. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. As I said, turning up to an event with only a few people there and meeting so many people that you can help and can help you. So imagine having that scale of things. Yeah, it'd be incredible. Right, I've put the Q&A, the hand raise feature is on, everyone, if you can see the hand raise feature. So if you have any questions, just hit that raise hand button, which should be down to your right. And I can give you the megaphone, and then we can all hear you. I know we pretty much covered everything, but don't be shy. If you can think of any questions.
Yeah, don't be shy. I don't bite. Feature. My avatar doesn't bite. I bite, but you're safe.
The avatar can't. That's another quote, isn't it, from the Oasis? What does he say about still needing to eat? Something about having to come out because you still need to eat in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, we have
food is delicious
question.
Only in real life.
Yeah, there we go.
Go ahead.
We have a question from 3D printing. Here we go. Just put you on air. There you go. You have the megaphone.
Yeah, thank you. Just one thing I wanted to clear up. When you were saying about the lemonade stand, and a friend opens a lemonade stand and someone else, who would you buy from? Maybe I missed something, but were you implying that you would buy it from your friend?
Yeah, I would definitely buy from my friend rather than a stranger.
Okay, but you see that. Yes, you do. And that relationship, what I learned is the distinction between friendship and business. And it's not that business is not emotional. It's that a business decision needs to be made based on, well, the facts. Like in this, where I am, there's a lot of nepotism and people being promoted because they have friends and they, into positions that they're totally incompetent in. And it's because of friendship and family. What I learned about business is that we may be very good friends, but what if someone over there is also selling lemonade? I would look at both. I would see who has healthier lemonade. That's an issue. Who has the better lemonade?
Nepotism is a real issue in business.
to make a sound business decision rather than I'm going to deal with you because you're my friend.
That's true. Nepotism is an issue in business, but that's just not how humans work. You can think like that, and you might be one of the few people who will say, well, hold on, friend, I'm not going to buy from you yet. I'm going to go check out your competitor. But when it comes down to sales, everything's based on emotion. When we buy things, it's all emotional drive. The things that we need, we can get. Most of our purchases are emotional purchases. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. But that's really taking a short bit of the real point. When you become friends with your network, there might be like web developer. I'll give you an example. I'm a web developer. Do you know how many more web developers are in the networks that I go to? They don't pick necessarily just their close friends. Of course, people are rational. That doesn't mean that they won't ever pick me or pick the other guy. It depends on your relationship with that person. Do they trust you? Do they know how you communicate? Do they know your ethics? If I'm a scum and that guy is a saint, I do great work, but that guy is a saint and I'm a scum. Do you think people are going to work with me? I don't think so. But the thing is, every purchase is emotional. And it's not really to, don't close it off at, I'm going to purchase my friend's lemonade and not the stranger. Think about it as, I'm going to take care of my friend first. And then if I want that lemonade from the stranger, I could go there too. But my friend is my community. He trusts me. She trusts me. They trust, and I trust them. And that's the type of relationship that true networking really fosters. And if they're not doing a great job, if their lemonade is not good, part of being in the community is being honest with them, right? That's another part of networking that I didn't get to touch on because it's so in-depth. But helping people grow, become better in business is important. And saying, hey, look, your lemonade is fine. Their lemonade is great. And I'll buy from you, but let's talk about how to make your lemonade better. Let me help you once a month, sit down and brainstorm new ways. That's what networking really should be. It's not like, let's meet up for an hour every week. You tell me some of the potential clients that you could give me, and I'll tell you some of mine. It's not a trade-off. It's about giving and listening, communicating. You see what I mean?
Yes, what I find interesting is when you're saying that purchases are about emotion, I wonder if you're talking about because I remember way back long ago, I learned, again, if I really want something, to just breathe and just not be attached, because if I get attached to something, the price will go up.
Yep.
So I made a lot of money in auctions because just the psychology, the game of it. So I learned if I want let the attachment, just be unattached, breathe, and either I'll get it or I won't. And
for people who are addicted to buying, because it is an addiction. I mean, some people get addicted to purchase. Yeah. But for the majority of people, I believe that we're in control of ourselves. I mean, I don't like to go out and just spend frivolously. So it's good that we're healthy in that way, and the people who aren't healthy should definitely get that advice to, before you buy, give it a day, and think about it deeper.
Agreed. Well, thanks.
Great points.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, very good. Very good point there. Right. Who have we got up next? I'm going to take the megaphone off of you and now give it to All Good, who has a question. So, All Good, you should have the megaphone right now. All right, you all good? Right up there. I see you. Right side, in the middle, at the back.
Is the sound working?
Yes, we've got you. We can hear you.
Okay, excellent. I actually, gentleman in the blue shirt standing there, I missed your name, the blue hoodie. You answered the question or the response I was going to give to this gentleman here, 3D printing, in reference to buying from your friend as opposed to someone else who may have a better business. Because I was going to say, and just to elaborate a little bit, that if he's your friend, you would potentially help them to grow their business to be better than their competitor, and or do some type of market research or whatever it is that you feel your area of expertise in, and able to help your friend or your associate, grow their business. So that's definitely something that I've done. I purchased soap from a friend of mine who makes their own soap, and I've tried other soaps. I've done some, tests for them, and helped them with social media, and to the point that, even invested in their business because I find that it's really good and useful. So I think that networking sometimes can be misconstrued, and it is something that you can actually help that business or friendship cultivate in that manner.
100%. And they don't necessarily need to be your best friend for life, right? You could have met them
Exactly.
a week ago, really connected, and really saw that this person's trying to help other people through their business, and fall in love with their mission, not their product. Because their product ultimately is a means of transfer of money and goods. Um, what their mission might be what you really fall in love with, and you can say, wow, that person can really be a good friend, and I can be a good friend to them by just giving them a couple pointers or maybe some feedback at the very least. Like, I don't like the way your homepage looks because of this and that and this and that, and these are the examples, and give me 5 hours, let me just fix it for you, and if you don't want it, we can revert it back to it the way it is. Like, just the simplest little things. If it's in your skill set, use them. The way you grow friends is by, sharing intimate, personal moments with them. And that same thing could be applied to networking in business. We don't have to be strangers. We can be true friends to each other, and that's how business grows, really.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
100%. Yeah, thank you for the question. Good. If anyone else has any other questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'm just going to take the megaphone off you now. If you do have another question, feel free to raise your hand again if you've already asked one. Oh, one just popped up. So Jet has a question, and I've seen Jet. I've just given you the megaphone. Jet is in orange to the left in the orange top. No, sorry, green top.
Hi. So I just want to check up on something you said as well. It was about the LinkedIn. Are you saying that I can track VR networking in LinkedIn?
Oh, well, we have a community that's trying to grow up into a healthy one. But yeah, VR networking is a community in LinkedIn. That's not what I meant.
Okay.
What I meant to say was, you can easily go on LinkedIn, and through your networks, just ask, is there any networking events this week via Zoom? If you need help with connecting to a networking group, shoot me a personal connection request, and I can point you could join immediately, and every one of them once a week, sometimes multiple times a week. But LinkedIn is a great place to just type in the word networking and find in the events, and find events happening over Zoom. That's a great place to start, and just connect with people. Just see what that network group is about. Do it for like 3 weeks straight, just so you get the feeling of what they're really about and how they work. If it seems like it's all pitches, avoid those types of groups. There are networking groups in Clubhouse that do that, where you stay silent. There's silent networking groups. It's very strange to me, this concept, where nobody talks, and you basically just look at each other's Instagram, and you start following each other. And it's the strangest type of networking, and I don't believe that works. What really works is communicating. Really getting somebody to recognize who you are, what you do on a personal level. So yeah,
for sure.
I would start
can
with
feel very weird trying to look at Instagram while I stand here quietly staring at you. So
very strange.
Thanks very much for that.
Strange. Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, and I have a lot to say on this, but people have got questions, so I'm just going to shut up for a change. But I will say that what we're talking about, the building depth of relationship with people is obviously just so important. I've seen the alternative, like you were saying, the sort of cold call sales where you get the message on LinkedIn from someone trying to sell you something who's pretending they've looked at your profile, but you can see straight away that they haven't, they know nothing about you. They haven't even begun to look into who you are. And that just doesn't work.
Yeah,
right.
We'll never fall for that.
Yeah, exactly. You see it coming on a mile off. Right. I'll take that megaphone off you, Jet. And Thomas, you have a question yourself. Man himself. Right. I've given you the megaphone, Thomas. There you go. But you could have had it anyway.
Yes. Thanks, Roberto, for your talk. I'd like you maybe to take an evolutionary perspective. I mean, what we all know is networking in the real life. Like, I don't know, 30 years ago, at least I know because I'm older than 30 years, when we all met in some, I don't know, breakfast clubs. And then, like 15 years ago, we came across social networking, professional-wise, for the likes of LinkedIn. And now, like networking, business networking, socially are compared to these other two evolutionary steps in business networking. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. What is the biggest difference? Why are you now doing business networking in VR? And why is that a huge evolutionary step to your point of view?
Yeah, sure. So, to touch back on in-person networking, one, you're limited by your time and your mobility. So if I hear about a networking event happening in Manhattan, I can take the ferry over, go into Manhattan, spend the day there. I would have spent 5 hours on a 1 hour event. So the cost far outweighs the benefit. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Sometimes you get lucky, and that day was really worth it. But majority of the time, you can do the same thing in Zoom. And how that differs is now I'm at home and I can connect with 500 people in a week, which is great. And again, we're gonna get to VR next, but that's like a deeper dive to personal, to be able to have personal time with people and have no cost added to that. If you bring that a step deeper, you get more connections in VR. One, because VR is basically putting a welcome mat on your front door and leaving the door wide open. When we go to events like this, it is not, we don't require a Zoom link or special passcode to get into events like this. So as long as somebody's holding a topical event, which applies to you, maybe your business or your interest, you're guaranteed to see people there from anywhere in the world, not located in your hometown or your city or even your state or country. No time spent traveling, and everyone is welcome. Literally everyone is welcome. There is no invite code. And that's the benefit of VR, is because the metaverse that we're creating now and the types of communities that we're creating now is a completely open one. And it allows for everybody to join and see the benefit. I mean, I truly feel like I'm here. So what's the difference between this and an in-person one? We cut the middleman of 2D screens. I mean, unless you're on a computer now and you're using 2D screen, you're still kind of doing that, but you still don't have to have that invite. You didn't have to type in a special code to get into this room. It's right there on your calendar. Just click enter. And that's the true benefit of VR. It's almost in person, and anybody could join.
I agree.
Thanks.
I agree, and it's the diversity as well. Like as you were saying, like internationally, like having these events, just having people all over the world, and you have the diversity when it comes to like, their ideas, their experiences, their thoughts. Rather than everyone in the same town or in the same city, like you have all of that. It's just a big, what's the term? Is it smelting pot? I don't know. Of like all these ideas and stuff in the same place. Melting pot, yeah, smelting pot.
But also, to the topic of, when people think community, we think small. but we all work off of a global community. Your GDP from your country affects the GDP from my country, vice versa for every country and every continent. It's just the way the global markets work. If you're a small enough business, that can affect you. So we want everybody to grow. Again, this is not a competition, and the world leaders might have you think it is, but when it comes down to it, the world is run by small business owners. That's who really moves power and money across the world. We are the voters. We are the people who drive demand and ideas. And so it's most important for us to create a community that will foster more growth. If we small and mid-sized business owners grow and do better, we are the ones that are directly impacting our internal community, our neighbors, and our family. And that's why this is also important.
100%. Well said. Well said. Right. So we got another question from Jet now, actually. Jet, I'll give you the megaphone again. There you go. Did you have another question? You're muted currently, Jet. I'm not sure if you're...
Okay.
There you
am
go.
I on? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, not another question. I want to add to that. So
Sure.
I just got muted again.
We've lost you. You're muted again, Jet. So we heard so, and then you cut out. Let me. Well, you do have the megaphone.
Gotta give her the
here.
megaphone.
She does have the megaphone. Her mute is still on. Yeah,
Jet,
if you maybe
if you want to try re-entering,
yeah, try to
that
re-enter the
might just
space.
be a glitch.
Does happen sometimes when that mute button locks on. Yeah, try to re-enter if you can from your settings. There we go. Yeah, but that was a good point, well made there, and good question as well. Yeah, the other thing we didn't bring up, the spatial audio in here, right? Like
Spatial audio.
You know, being able to have separate conversations in the same space, still overhear another conversation and head over and see what people were saying, and it's just much more organic in terms of sort of the way you communicate in these spaces than a Zoom call. You can still do the sort of split off sessions, but the feel in here of you know, when we unmute everyone in here and people can move around, you know, you can move into different groups and you can have these conversations.
Yeah, it's less controlled by, you know, some admin who's pushing into a little room with somebody who, you know, you could get to know and you might be interested in, but it's just not organic in the way that we approach people. It's not human.
I've had it with a community that I was a part of, and not to throw any names out there, but you know, they had a sort of, I did a hubs world for them so they could have a sort of community meet up and talk, and they used it once, and then the next one they did, they said we're going to do it in Zoom. And I went in there and I thought I was in the wrong room because it was just people pitching and no one else could talk. And it was just people, you know, just one or two people. And I contacted several people as a part of that group, and they said the same thing. Like, are we in the wrong place? This doesn't feel like, it's not a meetup. This is like just a, you know, one team of people pitching something. Like, we thought we'd gone to the wrong place. So it just didn't feel right. And we left as a result because we were like, this isn't, you know, this isn't networking. It's not, you know, what we were there for. Essentially, it didn't allow us to have those conversations between each other and split up. Okay, Jet is back. Thank you for letting me know. You know, I like to stand on my soapbox and talk, so I'm going to give you the megaphone, Jet. There you go. Try now.
Hi. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that.
Right.
So I was just trying to add to that was I'm actually severely disabled, and before VR to meet up in the real world was always quite a bit more difficult for me. A lot of it is physical, visual as well, so it was uncomfortable, whereas now I can go into many meetings and just feel like part of everyone else and not feel judged immediately. So this opens a whole new world for a lot of people, which is really cool.
Yes. She talked about this at the trade show, and I thought that was magical because I didn't even, you know, recognize the benefit that people with disabilities would be having in VR. And VR has limitations. Not every disabled person can benefit from VR, but it is another step closer to inclusivity. So, being a person who's interested in business and having VR as a tool, uh, it's explosive. It's completely a new paradigm for ability.
Yeah, 100% agree. And this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately with sort of use cases of VR. I was very much into the VR gaming. I was a VR esports team captain for a while, and then was more thinking about like VR, like what VR can do for people. Also, when they come out of VR in the real world, what it can do. But thinking about people with disabilities, I remember I had an event, a music event in High Fidelity, and there was a guy in there who was 80, he was in his 80s, and he basically like thanked me and said like I'm unable to go to like live music events, and being able to come in here, I don't know how, like he must have been very like down with the tech, because I found it hard to navigate on their platform, but he was thanking me because he was like, I can actually attend this event. And I think that's why when I hear people say things like this will never replace the real life, which we've had in here, Thomas, I think before, and my response to that is it doesn't need to. Like it's not doesn't need to try. It opens up to to much more people, and also there's people that also don't like going out as much, and kind of have that feeling when they're in the space with people that have high anxiety. So it also opens it up to a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be the brain to computer interfacing eventually, when we're all just sort of it doesn't it's all in our heads anyway. So maybe we'll get to that state eventually. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the beauty of the way the technology is moving. Microsoft is working hard on making XR the next platform that'll integrate VR and real world experiences. And my example of that is the vision for the future for CONINVR is hosting trade shows in real time with real people walking around. And as long as you have an AR glass, a futuristic AR glasses, they're not ready yet, but you could turn them on, and what you thought was a 1,000 people event quickly turned into 5,000 people, because now you have people who are there, and then people who are there as avatars, and all you needed to do is turn it on, and you see people interacting with each other in real life and in VR. For
that'd be
those
incredible
people in VR. It's
incredible. Exactly that inclusivity as well. Like you've got both. The hybrid of that is amazing. Yeah. Sorry. Right. I've speaking too much. Let's see who's got. So thanks for that question, Jet, as well. Thank you for that. Not a question, but
thanks, Jet.
Definitely thank you for saying that. Right. So we have Edgar. Edgar, I'm giving you the megaphone, and you are. There you are. I see you in the red cap, right side. And you.
Edgar.
Is your mic working? Yep.
He's on, but I don't think his megaphone is on.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
Yeah, I just manually blocked my mic on my Quest.
Okay.
Not much of a question, but something that I learned dealing in VR world. I've taken classes. I mean, I know it's not business, but I've taken classes in Zoom, and I also taken classes here in AltspaceVR. And the difference is like phenomenal. Like with the Zoom meetings, it's just a screen, and it's just like, I lose interest. I start daydreaming. In classes in VR, it's more immersive, and I'm more into it. And on top of that, something I also learned is that even though these are like 3D avatars, you could still tell the person's emotion and like his mood just by the way that they speak and stuff. I was speaking to a friend through here, and then through like flat screen, without even me ever seeing him in person, and his same mannerism matched the way he spoke here. So yeah, I'm actually excited for this networking thing in VR.
Yeah, it is.
So true.
It's the
we
magic
were talking
of
about
VR,
earlier, weren't we? We were talking about people with high energy talking to them, they're moving like this, and you can kind of the mannerisms, that fidgeting carries over into their avatar as well, so you can see them moving around. I do it sometimes. So
silly. I do it just to correct myself. So I know sometimes I'm like, I'll be too close, and I'll have to like move away and then try to position correctly.
Yeah, the spatial awareness That's something that I say in VR when you can feel like we have a role where you know someone's behind you or they're near you is not something we have. For my back was turned to Stephanie earlier when she came in. I had no idea she was there, so I'm talking to Thomas and you, and Stephanie's behind me, so it seems like I'm just pushing her out of the conversation, but I just didn't know she was there. So that's something that we'll see. The avatars, like, and so I'm very interested in how that changes, because as you said, you can really feel the presence with the avatars and kind of get the character. But if you've seen Facebook Horizon and their avatars, I find their avatars even more so. When I'm interacting in there, I find it like next level, next step up. And that's very simple sort of interactions and sort of very simple emotional stuff that happens when, 2 thumbs up does. It feels even more engaging. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that comment. 100%. Right. Jet, we're back to you, Jet. How much time do we have, Thomas? One more question? One more question, Thomas? Yep. Yes. Okay. All right. Jet. Oh, okay, Jet, I've lost you.
No.
Did you? Oh, no, you don't have a question.
Took that back.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right then. Well, we've got to 8 anyway, but yeah, thanks a bunch for all those questions. As I said, I did allow one more time, so if anyone does have one, just let me know, and I can give you the mic. If not, Thomas, Thomas is coming up. You can see him.
Yeah,
I mean, the stage.
If there are no more questions, I thank you very much, Roberto.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to invite the audience, as you proposed, to connect with you, with me, with each other, and practice some business networking after your talk here in VR. And I would also invite you to join our party at 10 o'clock, which you could also use. This is something what you said, Roberto, that in social VR we have this great opportunity to join events, and it's always easier if you have it's like you're being allowed to get connected if you have an event, if you have content, other than if you join a networking event where it's about networking. There's something which makes it complicated for me sometimes. But if there is, like, for example, an event, a party, whatever, or a talk like this, sometimes it's easier to get connected.
Yes.
And if you
more human, right?
You are invited. You get to know Natasha. She was also a part of the story I told you in the introduction. And maybe we meet again at 10 o'clock. And if you like this evening, the X night, you can come back in September, where we have a talk called "Do Androids Dream of Electric Poems?" And this is, as the name suggests, about artificial intelligence and poetry.
It's a play on the Blade Runner book, isn't it? The original Blade Runner book was "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?" I think was the title of the book. Exactly. Yeah, good book.
We are all fans of this movie, I guess, of this story. So yeah, thank you very much, Roberto. And let's stay connected.
Yes, let's stay connected. Thank you, guys.